Hi everyone, and welcome to this first session from Bali. So it's a Yin yoga class from Bali, and it's beautiful here at the moment. This is one of my ambitions, was to actually do three classes from here, and this is the first one in that series. So before we get into it, if you could just grab cushions. You can see I've got cushions. If you can get some blankets or towels that you can put under your knees, some of the postures are going to be a little bit strong and not strong, but sort of hard on the feet. Now I'm on knees, and I'm actually on a Bali tiled floor, and believe you me, these things are like concrete. So I've got my mat, which is quite thin, but the blanket actually helps support the knees. The cushions are going to help when you're coming in and out of the postures. So highly recommending maybe pausing this video and grabbing those props before we start. So today we're going to focus on the central channel in yoga, and this is called Sushumna, and Sushumna is a nadi, and nadis are kind of like supposedly like the rivers of energy that go through our body, and Sushumna is the midline or the central channel of these nadis. Now there's left and right nadis too, and they weave their way through, and they're called Ida for left, pingala for right, and that's feminine and masculine. So today the focus will be on this. Now, not to confuse, but from a traditional Chinese medicine perspective, these central lines are called meridians, meridian lines or channels, and they pretty much do the same thing. They're balancing out the body in a really holistic, positive way. So the one at the front of the body is called, in traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, is called the conception vessel. Runs up the midline, and that's where all the energy will flow back and forth through that. The back line is the governing vessel, and that's up the back line that goes up to the top of your head. And once again, these are beautiful ways to bring balance to the body. And they're really important to know the balance point. So we'll go back to not to confuse, as I said, but we'll go back to the yoga philosophy on this, even though this is a yin class. I really like the nadis in the sense that because they bring balance to both of us, and that midline or the central channel, it's always nice to know where that is in your body. So how I know this is that if you go to the base of your body, if you know chakras, we will call that the root chakra, but you can also say the perineum down at the base of your body, right up to the top of your head. So throughout the class, we'll keep coming back to that, we'll be weaving back. Now, this is the balance point, but in life and in yoga, it's okay not to be balanced. And all we're doing is just bringing ourselves back to that midline. So that's what yoga, to me, and people may debate this, but most of the practices in yoga are about bringing balance. And that's what we're going to focus on today. So with that, comfortable seated position, and you can be cross-legged, you can be kneeling, whatever suits you. If you need to take your feet out, sure, do that, and give yourself a bit of a wiggle. We're not going to be here for too much longer, but we are going to move through a pranayama practice in a minute, which is a yoga breathing practice. So once you get your comfortable seated position, just rest your hands down on your lap or your knees. You don't have to worry too much about yoga mudras. You can have your hands facing down if you want to feel more grounded. If you're feeling quite open today, you can have the palms facing up. Once you find your spot, give yourself that last bit of a wiggle, and then gently close your eyes. So just focusing on your breath and where your breath is landing in your body. And then bring more awareness to moving that breath down a little bit deeper into your body. So as you inhale in through the nose, visualize the breath moving down right to the base of the lungs, and then visualize it, once you get there, expanding to the rest of your body. On the exhalation, breath comes back up and you exhale out through the nose. So breathing in, belly expands, and all that goodness of the energy and the breath filters through the body. Exhaling out, releasing the breath out through the nose. So carry on in that way. Notice the sensations as you breathe in and out. Then letting that go and coming back to your natural breath and inhaling in through the nose, open mouth sigh, letting everything go, and again, once more. Now we're going to move into a practice now called Nadi Showdown, or alternate nostril breathing. So those of you who know that, go straight into it now. Those of you who don't know it, I'll demonstrate it now. So you can just gently open your eyes. So you're bringing up the right hand, and the middle two fingers, the peace fingers, you're going to place right at the center, or the in between the brow center, and calling that the third eye. So we're going to alternate nostril breath through the left and right nostrils, and how we achieve this is using the right thumb and left ring finger. So together, breathing in and out through the nose, and now placing the thumb of your right thumb on your right nostril and inhaling to the count of 3 or 4 to the top of your breath through the left nostril. 2, 3, 4. Closing off the left nostril with the ring finger, your right ring finger. Exhaling out through the right nostril. Inhaling in through the right nostril. Up to the third eye. Blocking off the right nostril with the thumb, exhaling out through the left nostril. Inhaling in through the left. Up to the third eye. Exhaling out through the right, closing off the left nostril. Inhaling in through the right. Up to the third eye. Exhaling out through the left. One more round, inhaling in through the left, blocking off the left nostril, exhaling out through the right, inhaling in through the right, up to the third eye. Just pausing this time, and then exhaling out through the left, blocking off the right nostril. Letting the mudra go, and the hand just floats back to your lap or your knees. And just have a moment, just to check in with eyes closed. And then just bringing the hands into prayer at the heart center. We call this Anjali in yoga, so it's an offering mudra, not an asking for. If that doesn't resonate with you, you can just leave your hands on your lap, and we're going to open up the class with an Om. But first, inhaling in through the nose, open mouth sigh, And now for the Om, so inhaling in through the nose. And very gently open your eyes. Well, welcome once again. Going to start off with the first posture. Now, you'll notice I've got my little timer here. In Yin Yoga, those of you who haven't done it before, we hold the postures for 3 to 5 minutes. And so I've got a little timer here to actually show me when we need to change sides and that with the postures. So, I'm moving props off to the side. Keep them handy because you'll need them in a minute. I'm going to come into a wide leg child's pose. So knees are out to the edges of the mat, hands are forward, and you're just gently resting your forehead on the floor. Now, if this doesn't work, just grab some cushions and prop them underneath you. We're not here for long, just for several breaths. And then just floating your hands over to the left side. Resting the head down if you can, or keeping it upright with a cushion underneath your forehead. If you need some support underneath your knees, by all means put a blanket or something there. Just focusing on the breath and that midline of your body. Imagine the breath moving up and down from the perineum right up to the top of the head, exhaling to come down again. Now with yoga, we're not looking for pain at all. Discomfort is fine, right? And that's okay because discomfort is something that we experience most days in our daily lives. And what yoga teaches us is to understand what discomfort is and know that it doesn't last for a long time. But pain is not what we're looking for. So if you're getting any pain, always come out of the posture and then perhaps try something else or wait for the pain to dissipate. Okay, last inhale here. Coming back to center and then over to the right side with the arms now. Notice the sensations on this side. Notice the lateral stretch in the left side, the compression on the right side. And this might be a lot different on this side too, and that's perfectly normal. Every side and every day is different in yoga, right? Some days everything flows lovely, and other days things don't seem to go too well. Such is life, right? Now you'll notice that I'm keeping my head off the floor. I'm a bit mindful of that I might lose you with the audio, so not going too deep. Now in Yin we're looking for an edge. And that edge is about 75% of where you can go. So don't go beyond the edge. If you feel like you have gone beyond, back it off a little bit till you find that you think, okay, I know I'm working, but I know I'm not going too far. So I've got about 30 seconds left on this side, in this opening posture. So keep focusing on the breath, focusing on that midline. Notice the energy of the breath as it filters through your body. All right, last deep inhale. Open mouth sigh. Coming back to center. Just gently sliding those palms back towards you. And we're going to come into a posture, probably not so yin, but after we've been sitting and crouching down for quite a lengthy time, it's good to just loosen up the body a bit. So extending the right leg back, ball of foot, and just gently pulsing back and forth. And I don't know about you, but this is something I really like doing. Back to center with that right leg, left leg extends, ball of foot. Pulsing again. Back to center. I'm just going to move my props off the floor. So coming onto the belly. Arms are facing forward into Sphinx pose. Now, traditional Sphinx would have the middle two fingers pointing forward, elbows are bent. In Yin, the elbows are slightly in front of your shoulders, but there's also a lot of other options in Yin. You can put cushions underneath you to support you. You can fold your arms if you've got a little bit of issues with the back or you just want something a little bit gentler today. I kind of like having my hands in prayer, but you can also interlace your fingers as well. But find the sweet spot that you want to be in today and just making sure that you lift your head or your shoulders and float your shoulders down away from your ears. And then you'll start to feel the sensations. Into your belly, and then just very gently rolling the head forward. And throughout the practice, as I've been saying, just imagine that line again. From the perineum up to the top of the head, from the top of the head back down again, and send your breath there. Easy breath in and easy breath out. All right, we're going to be here for a little bit longer, but for those who want something a little bit stronger, we're going to move into seal pose. Now, a seal pose from your Sphinx, you can just place the hands out to the sides. And you can see that my hands are out like seal's flippers. Now, if you want to stay here, that's great. If you're finding you're going, oh, Gary, this is a bit too hard, you can come back into your Sphinx, and you can also come into crocodile pose, which means you can bring the hands up and support your head. So there's always options I love that yin just has the options to meet you in a wonderful place. But those of you who are in seal like I, you're up, focusing on that breath. And then if you want something stronger, you can bring the arms in. That's not my practice today. I'm going to have my arms out a little bit more. I'm still finding the edge. And just gently dropping the head down. Shoulders away from the ears. I'm going to hang out here for about another minute. And I love the concept of the nadis that I was mentioning before in the Sushumna channel, the central channel. And I love the concept of the energy running up and down your body. It's a beautiful thing to visualize. And of course, in yoga, the energy force is prana. And we call that life force in English. And in traditional Chinese medicine, there's many different words, but qi is the most common. So you can have, if you like, visualize that energy running up and down your body. All right, last deep inhale. And if you're in the seal pose, just very gently coming down onto your elbows. Back into Sphinx, and then we're all going to come into wisdom pose. So wisdom pose is palm on top of palm, forehead on top of palm. This is sometimes called palm pillow. It just depends on what your training was, or what schools you go to in yoga. So have a moment here just to chill and check round your body. Check it of those sensations. Where are you feeling the sensations? And what is the language of the sensations? And perhaps, what is underneath the language? All right, last deep inhale in your wisdom pose. Sliding your hands back towards you, coming up onto all fours. Now, this isn't traditionally a yin posture, but I really like this posture, and it's a classic yoga posture. And it's called cat-cow. So if you're familiar with this, Majari-asana, by all means go through. Those of you who aren't familiar, shoulders are stacked over elbows and wrists, middle two fingers are pointing forward, and your hips are over your knees. And your knees are more than hip distance apart. Tailbone goes up, belly towards the floor, chin and forehead towards the ceiling on the inhalation, and the opposite for the exhalation. And you're leading with the tailbone and the sit bones, and your head is the last part of this posture to move. So you might want to get a little bit funky with it if you want, and you can just move your body in around and something that works for you. Just for another minute or so, moving the hips and the head up and down, connecting with the breath. Then coming back to center. And just making your way into a butterfly pose, those of you who don't know it. I'm not going into butterfly just yet. I'm grabbing another prop. always good to sit on something. We're going to come into a posture called deer pose. We're going to show you a technique of how to get into that pose. So from the butterfly shape, we've got this classic kind of triangle going on. I like to have the feet together. Now we're going to have the left leg forward. So moving into deer pose, grabbing the right leg and placing it beside you, behind you. Now I've always found in my body that I end up being a bit skew-if. So sitting on a cushion helps bring that midline, that central channel back in alignment. So the left leg is forward, right leg is bent. And I'm just inching my foot back and forth and the one at the back the same, just to find that sweet spot where it just thinks, okay, I can sit here for about 3 minutes. Lifting and lengthening into the spine, then walking the fingertips forward and coming into a forward fold. So starting off slow in the forward fold, don't have to go too deep. And as time passes, the muscles will start to relax and you may be able to go a little deeper in this pose. And what I find is really cool is that you can use the breath to assist in going deeper. So there is a kind of almost a magical number that you can go a bit deeper, or time. It's around about 2 minutes. So hanging out here, a minute is almost past, believe it or not. So you don't have to go too deep in this pose. If it doesn't work, just come back upright. Looking for the sweet spot, the 75% edge. So for yin, we're not pushing into things. We're just allowing the shape to meet us in a really good place. All right. The invitation now is if you can go a little bit deeper, by all means start to fold down a little bit further. Now, if you feel any pinching, or this isn't quite right, this is the opportunity to back off and come back. Right, last deep inhale, open mouth, cruisy sigh. Very gently walking the hands back towards you. So we're going to come into a seated position. Now I've found with this pose, it's really nice just to roll over if your left leg is bent, over to the left side. You can swing your legs forward. For purposes of this video, I'm just going to swing my legs to the length of the mat. So placing the palms beside you and just lifting and lengthening, just do a nice counter pose here. If that doesn't work, you can always place your hands behind you and do a lovely back arch. I've got to say, this always feels good for me. A couple of deep, long inhales and exhales. Then coming back to center. And the good news is we are moving on to the other side. Maybe not the good news, right? So we had the left leg before. I'm going to go and sit on a prop, back into butterfly shape. So this time the right leg will be in front. So from the butterfly shape, taking the left leg behind you, And notice all the feels, the sensations in your body. This may be a lot different. For me, this side seems a bit tighter today. And that's okay, every day is different. So it's just about acknowledging that and then moving to where it feels good for you today. Now this might be where you stay. By all means, if this doesn't work for you, you can stay in butterfly shape and just fold forward if you want. But those of you who want to go a little bit deeper, lifting and lengthening, and then folding down from the hip creases, fingertips are walking forward, and then moving the ant off the floor, and just coming down into that forward fold. Woo. Most definitely I'm feeling that in the right hamstring today. So I'm just going to back that off a little bit and just come down. When I come to Bali, I always do a lot of yoga. And people say, "Oh, Gary, you've got your own practice." And I said, yeah, I do my own practice every day. But what I find is when I go to classes, I learn such an amount of knowledge from other teachers, and it's such a wonderful thing. And then the beauty of that is that I believe it helps me become a better teacher. And also, if something really resonates with me, I can incorporate aspects of that into my teaching as well. So, invitation is do lots of different yoga classes with lots of different types of different teachers as well. Some will resonate with you, others won't, and that's cool. But you may learn something from everybody. So we've been in here for about a minute and a half, another 30 seconds, and then your invitation is to come down a bit further. If you're feeling like you can now, by all means, come down a little bit deeper. Okay, coming down if you feel like you can, a little bit deeper. But perfectly okay if you can't. And just sending a breath to your center. And exhaling out to your edges. Breathing into your center. Exhaling out to your edges. And again. Last deep inhale. Open mouth. Very gently walking your hands back towards you. Just shifting your weight over to the right, swinging that back leg forward, a little bit different this time. Coming into, just going to move the prop off out of the way. Going to come into a yin posture called windscreen wipers. Now, I really love this posture. And a lot of students I teach laugh because every time I teach it, I have a huge smile on my face. So if you see me smiling now, you know that I'm enjoying myself. Everybody has something that they really love. Some of my teacher friends really love forward folds. I don't really like forward folds, but I love this. And in saying I don't like forward folds, this whole class has been about forward folds, right? But they're really important for the body. Equally, twists like this are important for the body as well. So you can see the smile on my face now. So one more on each side. And then back to center. And then with great news, we're coming into a rebound. So what's a rebound? A rebound's like a mini shavasana. So moving your props off to the side, laying down on the floor, head is on the floor, feet are extended. You can have your hands on your belly or your heart if that works better for you. And we're not here for long, just here to checking in with the sensations and just seeing where you're at this point in the practice.
You don't have to engage in any conversation that the sensations are coming up for you. Like, just listen. In yoga, we talk a lot about being a witness. And from the tradition that I come from, we do talk about that a lot, but I also like the idea of, so as a witness, where are you looking on? Where are you looking? Where are you standing? Or where are you? If you're a witness, are you beside the body, or you above, or you, just another idea, just noticing things like that. All right, last deep inhale. Open mouth sigh. Now we're going to come up to a seated position. If you want to follow me to the seated position, just gently bending your legs. Heels are close to your bum. Palms are on the floor. Thumbs are underneath your bum, so you've got to lift your hips up a bit, raising the legs up. So they're into like a shape of an L. So on the count of 3, you're going to drop the legs down and your body will come up to an upright position. So 3, 2, 1, and up. Back to a seated position. All right. Whew. So I'm grabbing my cushion again, props under the bum. Those of you who know that practice with me, you'll know that props are a very big part of the yin practice, and every practice that I do. Never be frightened to go up to teacher and say, hey, I need some more props. Because they really do help with the practice, and if you have a great experience with a yoga class, you're more likely to come back. But if you go too hard and you come away with a bit of pain, it's kind of lodged there, right? So we're going to come into a shape called half butterfly. Left leg's extended, right leg is tucked in, right to groin. If you need something underneath, like another pillow underneath, it's quite high, by all means, place that underneath your knee. So some people like to have their leg further out in front, so you can actually have your foot out like that, if that works for you. For my practice, it's more out to the side, but that's just because my body shape works with that. So just feel it, just give yourself those options of, yeah, I don't like that, I might want to do that. You may need to put something underneath your extended leg as well. So we're going to forward fold to the left extended leg. Now you're not engaging your feet in yin, you're just letting everything just be passive. So belly button towards left knee. I like to lift and lengthen, not absolutely a good, a correct cue in yin, but the reason for that is to bend from the hip creases and then just gently walking forward. Now I can feel straight away that my extended left leg needs to come up a bit. Perfectly all right. Might want to put something underneath it, like this. Placing the hands on the floor. This is about as far as I want to go at this point in this shape. Feeling a bit of a pull in the lower back, and I'm just going to see how that goes without this posture. So folding forward. So not grabbing hold of the feet, keeping it quite passive. Your feet can roll out to the side if that's how your body shape works. Breathing into the sensations. And as always, notice the midline. Notice the breath coming up and down your body in this shape. All right, for those who feel they can go a little bit deeper, always the invitation, perhaps walk your hands a little bit further forward or towards your heel. Using the exhalation, perhaps you may be able to go a bit deeper, but perfectly all right if you can't. And if you're going, ooh, that's not working for me, then back off a little bit. All right, last deep, long inhale. And a cruisy, walking the fingertips back towards you. And this is an opportunity for the counter pose. So placing the hands behind you, your fingertips can be pointing behind you towards the wall, or they can be pointing in front, whatever works for you. I'm thinking behind works for me today. Gently arching backwards, chin and forehead towards the ceiling, and some really long inhales and exhales as you stare towards the sky or the ceiling. Lots of noises from the jungle here. I've got some birds tweeting away at the moment. Last deep inhale. Coming back to center. So straight onto the other side of your half butterfly. Right legs extends this side. Remember the props. They can come under your knee. For me, it's underneath the extended right leg. Belly button towards your right knee, lifting and lengthening, walking the fingertips forward, bending from the hip creases. And when you find that you've reached that point that you need to roll down with your back, then using an exhale and just letting go. And finding that connection with the breath. This side is a lot different, personally for me. So even now I can feel the body releasing, which then allows me to go a little bit deeper. Now, for most postures in yoga, I always have a bend in the knees. A lot of yogis, they don't need that. But I have what got me into yoga was I had a lower back injury. And I picked it up, believe it or not, from karate years ago. And it wasn't from sparring, it was from doing a set of postures that my body didn't like. So as a result of that, my lower back is a little bit out. So sitting on stuff is really ideal. Pushes the pelvis forward, helps the energy to flow, also allows for myself to go a little bit deeper into the posture. So yes, the invitation is there if you want to go a little bit deeper. Another 30 seconds to go. Focusing on deepening the inhale and exhale. Focusing on that midline, that mid-channel in your body. Visualizing all that energy that channel is just radiating out as you breathe in and out of your body. Last deep inhale. And a sigh. Coming back upright. Counter pose again. Feet behind. Sorry, hands behind. Couple of deep inhales and exhales.
back to center. Now we're going to come into a posture now that a lot of guys and women don't particularly like. So they're going, oh Gary, what's this posture? What are you dragging us into? Well, I'll tell you, it's called dragonfly. Now dragonfly is a wide leg posture, extended out. Now with a lot of guys, this doesn't work for us, and some females too. I won't say it's not. So you can actually, in this wide leg pose, bend your knees. You can have props here. We're going to come into a forward fold. So if you have a bolster or something at home, you can have your hands on it or anything, cushions, just to help with a forward fold. So there's always options, right? You can do this posture against the wall. I can't really show you in this place because there's paintings and everything on the wall. But once you find your shape, it's something that you can stay in for about 3 minutes, lift and lengthen it into the spine, and then just gently walking the fingertips forward, bending from the hip creases, and then when you find you've reached that sweet spot where you can't go anymore, just rolling the head down a little bit. Now, we're not engaging the feet here, so allow your feet, if they roll off to the side, that's perfectly okay. Allow that to happen. I'm not going too deep. Here for another couple of minutes. And just connecting into those sensations in your body and just thinking, just where are you feeling those? Is it in the back? Is it your thighs? Is it your hamstring, shoulders, fingers? And then give that a little bit of love and send a breath there. All right, those of you who wish to go a bit deeper, just using that exhalation, perhaps walking the fingers a little bit further forward and coming down. For me, I'm staying upright. All right, so gift yourself one last inhalation in your dragonfly. Loud sigh, walking the hands back towards you. This time we're going to do a little bit of a different counter pose. Yes, we are coming out of dragonfly. Thank you, Gary. But before you come out, just placing your hands underneath your knees. These are hinge joints, so we need to be really careful. So just allowing yourself to bring your knees back to center. We're going to move over to the side of the mat, and we're going to come into a beautiful posture called Cosmic Egg. So the heels are close to your bum, knees are bent, wrapping the arms around you, and the feet can stay on the floor today. You can raise your toes up if you want. And if it's within your practice today, just gently bowing your forehead down. And just hang out here for a minute or two, or just for a minute actually. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. So check in with what you've been experiencing throughout the practice today. Checking in with that central channel. And know that you can always come back to that place anytime you want, as a reference point, balance point.
Last deep inhale. Cruisy sigh. Unraveling yourself. Coming back into a mini rebound. Lying on the floor. Feet are extended. They're here for about a minute. Once again, checking in with the sensations, going from one to the other. And also for the ones that aren't as loud. And what are those ones like? Are they just really small? Is there any tingling, pulsing? Just sending some life force, some prana or chi there on your breath. All right, last deep inhale. Now from here, if you're still lying on your back, you might want to come up a bit and watch what I'm going to show you next. We're going to come into a shape called banana asana. Those of you who know it, by all means go into it. But those of you who don't, with banana asana, just moving the feet out to the left. Then you're moving the torso out to the left. The arms can stay beside you at the moment. If you want something a bit stronger, the right leg comes over, right foot over the left foot. And then you can float your arms up and over. Oops. Just place that.
Now, if you've got shoulder issues, then keep your arms down beside you. And we're just going to hang out in this shape for just a
couple of minutes.
So you'll be feeling right into the right side, in that lateral bend. Be a bit of a compression on the left side. This is all good,
Squeezing and rinsing all those internal organs.
The great thing about Yin, because we hang out here in postures for such a long time, really gives an opportunity for things to be processed, physical things as well as the mental things as well. Two more deep inhales and exhales.
Very gently unraveling yourself. Arms come down, torso back to center, feet back to center. And then setting yourself up for the other side. So legs out to the right, torso out to the right, left foot goes on right, if that's what you did on that side. Arms can go overhead. You can extend them or you can keep them slightly bent like I've got here. And then notice the difference. Now we're into the lateral side on the left side. Compression on the right. And does this feel different? Or does it feel the same?
All right, 3 more breaths in and out. Then
Unraveling yourself.
Coming back to center.
Pulling your body back into alignment, just placing your feet out to the edges of your mat. Now you can have your arms in a T shape or a cactus arm shape if that works for you. I'm going to do this windscreen wiper like we did seated. This time we're doing it from a lying down position. And notice the difference here. Once again, I've got the big smile on my face. The favourite twist that I really like. Now you might want to linger on one side for several breaths, so do that. Then gently inhaling to come up and dropping the knees down to the other side. Now it doesn't really matter where you position your head in these twists in yin. So if you want it to go to the opposite side, that's fine, but if you want to keep it in the middle, equally fine. Coming back to center. Bringing your knees up to the chest. Just do some small rotations in one direction and then the other. And then with great news, we're coming into Shavasana. So Shavasana is like the rebound. Going to be here for several minutes. So get yourself comfortable, lying on your back, closing the eyes. And just allowing yourself to land and using the exhalation to land even deeper. And I'll fade my voice out for several minutes, and when it's time to come out, I'll let you know. So those of you who would like to stay lying down, by all means do so, and you can just allow this video to end. But those of you who would like to complete the practice today, just taking a deeper than normal breath in and a little sigh out, and then just listening to sounds in the room, sounds outside the room, bringing some movements to your toes and fingers, small movements. And just remembering where you are in the room, perhaps remembering the colour of the mat. And extending those movements from toes and fingers, bent knees, rotating one direction and the other. And then when you're ready, just gently rolling off onto your preferred side, just ensuring that you support your head with your arm. And have a moment. And then very gently making your way up into a seated position, keeping your eyes closed or downcast. Bringing your hands into Anjali, if that's what resonates with you, or keep them on the lap. And we'll close off the class with a traditional Om. But first, inhaling in through the nose, gentle sigh. Then inhaling in through the nose, and for the Om. And gently bowing forehead to fingertips. And just acknowledging yourself for practicing. Acknowledging people who support you. Acknowledging the teachers of these great practices of yoga. And acknowledging the greatest teacher of all, which is your internal self. As we say, Namaste. And very gently open your eyes. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. There's another 2 of these videos that will be coming soon. But until then, hopefully you enjoy the time that you've got, if it's on a weekend or a weekday. And until then, bye for now.